Hello, everyone from Chelsea Fan TV. I hope you're all doing very, very well. Welcome back to another episode of the Day After podcast, where we speak about everything that happened yesterday when we played Luton and we beat them 2-0 in the Carabao Cup second round. We're obviously going to play Leeds next. I think there's still some question marks actually about when that fixture takes place because Shakhtar Donetsk are going to be playing in the Champions League. So until we have a bit of clarity there, we actually don't know exactly when we're playing these. So we'll find out more later on. But yeah, we're going to be going over everything to do with the Luton game. Obviously speaking about some of the transfer news and rumours as well. And yeah, big up to Thomas, big up to Casey as well. I think we all had a relatively late night. Casey was sensible, went to bed as soon as he got home. Thomas stayed up until 6 a.m. watching Prison Break. I don't understand. To be fair, Thomas, you are young, mate. I feel I mean, Casey, you're young though. How old are you, Casey?
23.
Oh, you're not that young. All right.
Is it?
All right.
Come on.
I'm
not that old either. Come on.
I'm still in my 20s. So
exactly.
You're like
all young.
I'm going into like my 1920s and like 19s, 20s. That's the age where you let loose a bit. But
I mean,
letting loose is not watching Prison Break.
No, to be fair, also I was texting Cam about like the whole Enzo situation at like 5 as well. I don't even know why he was up.
Oh God.
Yeah, but
I don't even want to know. I don't even go. People go to bed on time. That's all I can say. Unless you got to stay up for work. Not for me. Not for me. Not if you got work the next morning. Anyway, I mean, let's Casey. I feel like I'm inclined to say like, please take the stage because unfortunately we had a problem with your fan cam last night and the sound didn't work. So we had some great stuff on there, but unfortunately we can't hear any of it.
I know. For people that was anticipating for the fan cam, the sound didn't work, and it's such a shame because we actually got like a great moment with the people that was talking regarding subject one finally being replaced and finally getting shipped off back to wherever he came from, getting a World Cup winner in Emi Martinez as a goalkeeper. Obviously, we were speaking about the Enzo Fernandez situation, which we'll probably touch a little bit later during the video, and obviously talking about the Luton game, which, as you said, I mean, overall, it was a win. At least we got the win to go through to the next round. First half, I'm not going to lie, the passages of play was really nice. And we can see the players are really starting to get comfortable in Xabi Alonso's system because we did play a back four and they looked really, really comfortable in that back four. So it does give me great optimism that they can play a back four or we're going to be very unpredictable as we've spoken about during pre-season when it comes to the teams that we're facing against because they've shown that they're comfortable in that back four and back three, but we just wasn't finishing our chances in the first half. We were very, very sloppy. It was getting a bit boring to the point where I almost caught myself falling asleep. But then second half, turned it up a gear, it increased the intensity, increased their pressure, and we got 2 goals from it. And it was 2 well-taken goals, to be fair. Danny Welbeck's goal, great header. And Esteval, obviously he shot. Obviously, it came down as an own goal, but it was a very, very dangerous shot. It was a good shot, which forced the defender in an awkward position where he had to turn it into his own goal. But all in all, I think it was a decent win, good solid performance, and on to the next round. A couple of players that I want to shout out quickly as well. I thought Barco was really good yesterday. I know it's Luton, but he was really, really good. And I want to criticize some of the fans that were booing him. I think it's absolutely pathetic. Like I understand Enzo.
It was more Luton, but like there were a couple.
Okay. I thought it was some of our fans.
There were a couple. There were a couple in like MHL. I heard some fans booing him.
And that's an absolute disgrace. Like what has he done?
Enzo's obviously different, but like still, Like just put internationals to the side. Like
this is what I'm saying. Like I don't want to get too political, but I understand the whole Falklands rule situation. But I feel like it should never be that serious that you're going to be booing Argentine players, especially Barker, because Barker hasn't done anything. He's just joined the club and he had a very good performance. And he's someone that I truly believe will really help us in terms of like breaking down low blocks, because Luton came in with a low block and he was just picking out passes, dissecting the low block really, really well. So I thought he was fantastic. Leclerc again, every single time Luton tried to get some sort of attack going, the guy was just there cleaning it up, winning every header, every duel, every tackle. I think he was absolutely outstanding again. And I'm so happy that he was playing yesterday, because it keeps the consistency and keeps the momentum going. Esteval, for as much as people saying he was a bit greedy and he needed to learn how to release the ball at times, I thought he was fantastic again. What I love about him is he's fearless. He will always take on his winger one-on-one. I'd rather him being a little bit greedy and a little bit selfish at his age than him being timid, because Xabi Alonso can teach him how to release the ball, when to release the ball, when to pass, when not to pass, when to shoot, when not to shoot. That IQ comes with age. That IQ comes with maturity as you're playing more and more games. So Esteval was fantastic yesterday. I think he was really great, really getting at the defenders, really causing them a lot of havoc. And Cole Palmer, man of the match yesterday for some. I think he was absolutely fantastic yet again. And as I said yesterday, he's slowly but surely coming into that superstar 23-24 season Cole Palmer that we all know and love and we all expect from him, including myself. So yeah, that's basically a breakdown on what I said yesterday before. Unfortunately, the fan cam didn't, the sound.
Hey man, that hopefully, at least it was Luton, not Arsenal or Man United.
Yeah.
Oh
gosh.
You know what I mean, I'm hoping we don't have that problem again. But just on Esteval, I do think that the one thing that is lets him down is he just doesn't have pace, and I feel like sometimes, especially yesterday, he sort of played like a player who, if he had pace, he wouldn't have given the ball away half as much, or players wouldn't have been able to catch up to him. His dribbling's so good, and the ball literally sticks to his foot. But it is a case sometimes you get past one, you get past two, and then you've done the hard bit. Now release it. But I also think there was a sense of he just wants to do so well, and if he feels like the onus is on him to score a goal or do something special. Like I remember Barcelona last year. We know he can do it, but I do think that to replicate that every single time you play is going to be tough. But yeah, I suppose it's good that he's taking players on against Luton. I do think in the Premier League, though, guys, I'll be honest, I don't think that's a sustainable way of playing all the time. I just think that if we keep having those sort of turnovers, then we are going to be susceptible to losing the ball in positions where we may not want to. But I suppose it is a fine line, isn't it, between taking risks and obviously just trying to keep the ball, because there's nothing worse than a winger who's in a position to take someone on and just passes it backwards. So I mean, as much as I say Esteval needs to improve his decision making a little bit, I can't sit here and say that it's not entertaining, and I can't sit and say that when it doesn't work, it's not great to watch. So maybe it's just a case of pick and choose your moments a little bit more.
I mean, it always comes with the risk that when you take your man on, you're always going to lose the ball. But I think with Esteval, like you said, he lacks that a bit more physicality or pace. Like, you can argue Neto has the physicality and pace over him, but he's just not as good at dribbling, and just like not as good at taking his man on. But I think the thing with Esteval, though, is that like he's so loved by the Chelsea fan base. Like yesterday, when I was in MHL, he was he just, every time he gets the ball, it's the first time I've seen a Chelsea player, when he gets the ball, sort of have like there's an anticipation with the Chelsea fans. Like every time he gets the ball, you can hear the crowd like sort of cheer him on. So I think he's so loved by the Chelsea fans, and I think what they want to see from him is him taking on his man. So I think he did that well yesterday. But yeah, I do think there's a couple weaknesses in terms of just his general physicality, but I do think he will like sort of improve that if he plays more games in the Prem. But what I just really liked yesterday is that I couldn't really tell if he was playing more as like a wing back or a winger, but that's the good thing about it. Like I really liked our fluidity yesterday. Like I was telling to you, Alex, like it wasn't really a set back three. Like you almost saw sort of Gusto picking up midfield pockets, then also like wing back.
I thought it was a back four.
Yeah, it was a back four, but it was almost like you had Lacroix, then you had what's his name? You had Lacroix, Achampong. Who was the left centre back? Was it I can't remember who it was.
I don't think we had a.
We have the left back.
I thought it was just a left back, Chavaria.
Yeah, Chavaria was the
And
left back, and then the
Chavaria
two.
was holding the width on the left hand side. But like, yeah, it was probably a back four. But what I liked is
But it looked like a back five, back three.
Yeah,
basically.
it looked like a back five. Like often I did see us build in a three, and then you had Caicedo and not Caicedo, James and Barker in the midfield. Like I think for me that's the most important thing. Like Xabi it's really important that Xabi sort of installs these like formations, these like tactical fluidities into the players' minds, because I think once they understand, once they're tactically aware of what to do, which positions to be at certain moments in time, I think that's when we're unstoppable. Like I think if we can interchange between that back three, back four, I think we'll be really good this season, because obviously with Maresca, we had our set system. It was very rigid. Yes, after a year, like the players are so astute to it, but then almost Palmer was saying in his interview the other day, like he didn't really have the ability to sort of flow and sort of roam into areas under Maresca that he did with Xabi in the first game against Fulham. So I think Xabi is going to bring the best out of players and sort of find that balance between maintaining a structure, but then also like players being able to roam and sort of have this fluid tactic. So I think for me, it's I'm looking forward to the season just because I'm intrigued as to how we play the big games, how we set up in the smaller games. But for me, I think right now we'll probably see the back three in like an Arsenal away, sort of City away, but then at home we might see a bit more of a force. So yeah, I'm intrigued. It's very interesting, and I think that tactical depthness will help us a lot.
Yeah, I think Barco was definitely good on the ball.
Yeah.
I spoke. I mean, when I was speaking to Charlie yesterday as well, he made a good point about Barco's physicality. I do think that was a little bit of a doubt, similar to like an Enzo. If we're being honest, I just didn't feel like he was that quick off the ball. I felt like his recovery was a little bit slow, and maybe that's fitness, maybe that's pace, maybe that's a bit of both. He's a player that I watched at Strasbourg. I watched him in the Crystal Palace game. And I think Strasbourg actually beat Palace.
Yes,
that was in France.
Yeah, they did.
Obviously, back when Liam was managing them, they're playing some good stuff. To be fair, but the way that they played and the way that we wanted to play yesterday, a little bit different. Obviously, a different type of match as well, not as open. But he strikes me, Barco, as a player who quite likes lots going on in sort of small spaces, but he's able to sort of carve something out of nothing. He doesn't strike me as the type of player who, like with Enzo, you see a lot of long balls, you'll see a lot of risky passes out wide. Barco, a little bit less
just more
risky
clean on the ball. For me, Barco is very just simple, sort of very clean, simplistic on the ball, and I think that's very good to have. Like obviously the risk element, Enzo, when he was playing more deeper, he'd have that ability to sort of spray the pass, sort of play the ball over the top. But Barco did that a couple times. Like Josh nearly got a goal at the end from a Barco sort of whipped cross sort of from the middle of the park. So I think he has that ability as well. It's just about gaining his confidence and the trust in the manager. But I think he's a very just technically sound player for me. Like obviously he was playing left back at Brighton, but I think the fact that he's moved into midfield, that helps him a lot, because I think because he was really good on the ball, like we can really make the most of that. The only thing I would say is that he's just a diminutive figure. Like he's just small and he's just not that physical. Like I think he's very good at off the ball, his sort of counter press. He has a lot of tenacity to win the ball back. Like he won the ball back for our second goal. But I don't think he has that physicality of like an Amadou Onana or something like that. Like I was looking, we're looking to sign Lamine Kamara. Like he brings a bit more physicality, but I don't think Barker would start. Like, I don't know if I'd trust him with Caicedo in the pivot for a big game, like a big
No.
six away, because like there you need a lot of physicality. Maybe you see that's where I think you see Reece and Caicedo like for the majority of the time if we don't get a midfielder in. But I think Barker is more than capable of playing our home games where we're playing against lesser sides, lower blocks. So I just think he was really technically sound yesterday, and it was almost a breath of fresh air because it made you sort of forget the Enzo situation. But yeah, no, I was really impressed with him. Chavarri as well, I was very impressed with.
Yeah, Chavarri had a lot of energy. Had a lot of energy.
Yeah.
Liked how the way he was always bombing up and down. Had a couple nice crosses as well, to be fair. Touching on the Barco situation as well, I think with Barco, as you said, I think he will be more suited towards the lower oppositions, towards the lower blocks. And I think he's someone that if, let's say, we are facing a top 6 club and we need, a goal, or we need not a goal, but we need a player that can just break the lines, break the low blocks. That's when you bring in a Barco with like 20 to 30 minutes to go and see, and let's just hope and pray that, the pass that he makes, that one pass can break the low block and we can get a goal out of it. So, having an option like that on the bench as well is nice, and that is a different type of midfielder compared to, let's say, a Caicedo or a Lavia or Reece James, who aren't really the best at breaking down low blocks with their passing. So having that sort of passer in Barco is a nice addition, and it's a nice, very alternative option that Xabi Alonso can use, and it helps again play into the unpredictability part of our squad, which is what I'm loving the most. Is the fact that we're so unpredictable. You don't know how we're going to play, you don't know what formation we're going to play, and you don't know what players can turn up and what players don't turn up. So yeah.
It was really
one player as well, boys, that I feel a little bit sorry for was Gittins, because obviously he came on. He made that great run. Do you remember right at the end? And
Yeah.
And I sort of looked at Xabi Alonso because I was behind the managers, and he didn't really move, to be honest with you. But then I thought in my head, like, if I was Xabi Alonso, if I was the manager, like, what would I be thinking based on that, on Jamie Gittins hitting the post? Because obviously he's trying to prove himself that he can break into the side, and there's a lot of doubts because obviously he's not really the type of player to be a left wing back. He wasn't great at it in pre-season, but looked really good when he was a left winger in pre-season, which is, sort of the ironic thing. And I honestly think that Xabi Alonso, no matter what Jamie Gittins does this season, I don't think he's going to get given many opportunities. And I think that's kind of the harsh reality of it. Whether he scores that goal or hits the post or goes 10 feet over the bar, I just feel like it's going to be very difficult to find a space for a player who isn't great defensively and is only good in one position.
And also another player that I was surprised that didn't get any minutes was Omega. I'm very surprised he didn't come on
off the bench.
Yeah, I'm very surprised he didn't
get 2-0 up as well. We went
2-0
up.
I thought he would get some minutes because I did see him, getting ready and warming up and seeing João Pedro coming on. Now I'm not saying I'm not saying that I'm annoyed that João Pedro came on, but I feel like this was a nice game for Omega to come on and get a couple of touches and show the fan base what he could offer us going forward. But I think that's a massive indictment to him, and as you said with Gittins, that Xabi Alonso doesn't really see them two in their plan, in his plans for the future. And I'm not even trying to violate Gittins here. I'm not trying to discredit the run, but it was a straight line drive. It wasn't like, he had to do any sort of skill moves to get past someone. It was just a straight line drive because they were trying to catch up to him. If there's one thing that I'll give to him, he has a lot of speed, and it's very hard to catch up with him on the ball. So it was just a straight line.
From what I've noticed since last season, like, he looks bigger, like physically bigger as well. Like, that's one thing I noticed. I don't know why. Like, last season, I remember him being smaller, like just physically less big. This year, like, I don't know, maybe he's been hitting the gym a lot or something, but like, he looks.
He is a professional footballer.
Yeah, he should be.
But as you said, just I think maybe finding that balance between strength and still keeping that technical side.
You're just saying that, but you're saying he looks a bit more like bit more hench, like a bit more.
Yeah,
is that
more
what you're
hench.
saying?
Like, yeah.
Okay.
Exactly. So I saw it. I've been seeing it from preseason. I was like, wow, Gittins. Didn't know. Yeah.
Wow.
Hit the gym that much. To be fair, no. I think he's exposed. I like him, but it'll be tough to shoehorn him in. Like, I think when we play the back four, we're probably going to see it's going to be Rodgers who starts from the left, drifts in, and then obviously maybe like a Chavarri or Palestra holds width on the left hand side. So I don't really see where he gets minutes a lot. Like, that's where Europe would have been really useful this season, and I think that's where a lot of players like Euromegas, like you were saying, Casey, like they probably won't be able to get enough minutes just because there's just not those minutes to offer them. But I do really like Gittins. I definitely think there's a player there. Like, I would, if we were ever to sell him, like I think he would do really well somewhere else because I think he has that raw pace talent. Like, it's not like a Garnacho where you can tell just like he's just not good 1v1, like no raw sort of talent there. So I think, yeah, I do really like Gittins. Maybe like we were saying the other day, like he's not a player that you can change your system around, but I don't think play him in the left 10, like don't bring him on in the left 10 because for me that just makes him worse. I think when we play the back four and if we play a left winger, then I think try and give him the most minutes as possible because I do really think he can prove himself. But I do think that there's a situation where by January he's not playing many minutes and he wants out, or like maybe an Omega as well, the same as that. That's for me, that's the biggest problem with us this season. Obviously, people say, yeah, having one game a week's much better. We're going to train more. But then at the second time, you can't really play your second string or second team. Like, you can't really have an A and a B team, and you can't really sort of shoehorn, like sort of get those players like your Barcos and Megas getting sort of minutes and them up to speed. So for me, that's the only down thing about this season, that with the one Premier League game a week, there's a lot at stake, and I don't think Xabi trusts Omega's Gittins yet, and maybe even Chavarria yet. So yeah, that's the only thing I have to say. But I do really like Gittins. I think he does have a lot to offer for me.
Yeah, I hear it and I completely understand. But at the end of the day, this is Chelsea Football Club. We are a big club. Yeah. You've just got to rise up to the standards. If you're good enough to play, you're good enough to play. If you're not good enough to play, I'm sorry, but it's either that you prove yourself you're good enough through training and through the little opportunities that you get, or you just have to leave, you know? Like, as you said, although Europe, we didn't get Europe, which, you know, that is the downside to it. This is what happens when you underperform and you finish 10th. And Gittins was in that squad last season. Now, I'm not saying that he was one of the main reasons why, but every time he came on last season, he didn't really impress. You know, you impressed in 1-2 games. That's it. So, you know, this is the consequence of you finishing 10th and you not getting any European football. If you had tried and gotten some sort of European football, then as you said, Thomas, opportunities would have been there. More opportunities would have been there for you to prove yourself to the gaffer and to the fans and show why you should be here. But, you know, that's just the consequence of it. Now you just got to raise up. Now you just got to increase your level. And you just got to fight into the squad. And, you know, as you said, Gittins is not a player that is worth changing the whole system for, you know, and Gittins has to learn how to play in a back 3 or back 4 system. If you don't, we're now seeing that those sort of players are getting left behind, you know, because we're seeing now the signs that we're making. They're versatile in a back 3 and a back 4, such as Rodgers, Lacroix, who else have we signed? Palestra. These guys are able to play in that back 3, back 4 system. Kamara, if we were to sign him, or Alex Scott, if we were to sign him, or Wharton, if we were to sign him, they are known for being able to play in that back 3, back 4 system. So if you're not able to play in those 2 systems well enough, then, you know, you are going to find yourself further down the pecking order, and that's just how it is.
Yeah, just we got to speak about the whole new rule about substitutions as well, because I was there and I saw Welbeck sort of coming off, clapping the fans, as you do when you've scored a goal on your competitive debut. You're going to appreciate the fans. You would hope that the fans would appreciate you as well. And I think it's quite a beautiful thing in football. It's quite a nice, touching moment when you get that. And we've somehow got to the stage where common sense has not prevailed. and it just seems a little bit robotic to me. I'm all for trying to keep, the tempo of the game going, etc., etc. But what happened to just adding on extra time? Like, why is that such a huge issue now that you can only take 10 seconds to get off the pitch? Bear in mind as well, where Danny Welbeck was pretty much slap bang in the middle, right? So there wasn't really a closest point. He could have gone off, anywhere, and it would have probably taken him the same amount of time. But the referee, I think he books him, right? Does the referee book him?
No, he doesn't book. He doesn't book him. But
so
obviously,
right, the referee gives him the signal, whatever, and Welbeck's thinking, what the hell's
just
going
doing
on
that, basically saying time, and then telling João Pedro you're gonna have to stay for 2 minutes. But that rule is just a stupid rule.
That is so unforgiving, and I don't. The thing is, obviously, so Alonso's standing there, and he's basically thinking, "All right, go on, Danny, on you go, mate." Danny doesn't go on, turns around, and he's going, "What the hell's going on?" And obviously, the referees then told him, "This is the crack." And you got the Chelsea backroom staff having a right pop at the fourth official
because he's going
this is
in the
ridiculous.
middle of it as well.
Sorry.
Austin McPhee was he at the
Mate, Austin
centre?
McPhee loves it. You know what? If there's ever someone in that backroom staff who's going to get involved, it's Austin McPhee. I love his passion. I love his passion.
100%.
My dad was like, because I was sitting with my dad. My dad was like, "Who is this guy?" And I was like, "Oh, Dad." I was like, "That's Austin. That's big Austin." And he was like, "Who's that?" I was like, "I'm pretty sure Villa scored about 28 goals from set pieces last year." Yeah. So this
I love
is the guy.
I love how they're so committed on the touchline. They're almost further than the manager. He takes his job so seriously. I love that about him. I think I saw a video the other day where he was getting mad at mad. I can't remember where it was, and then he
at the Malaysian. That was one time at the Malaysian game as well. I think he was getting some argument with one of them.
Yes.
But that was funny. But yeah,
that would never happen. 30 years ago, that set piece coaches would never be on the touchline like they're dominating.
Exactly. But they always rotate. So McPhee will be up there, and then as soon as the set piece is done, he sits down. Alonso straight back up, and then the set piece comes. Alonso sits down. I was like, it's quite,
And then
this is very insane.
If there's a fight, you'll see Willie Issa come up as well, on the side. He loves a bit of that as well.
Nice.
I didn't see Willie yesterday. To be fair, I didn't see him.
Yeah. Touching on to that rule, I think the rule, I can understand why they would implement the rule, is to reduce time wasting. Me, if there's one thing I hate in football, it's time wasting. I truly believe if you're a good enough team, you don't need to time waste. What's the point of time waste? I understand the whole tactical, but I hate time wasting. It's annoying. It's really, really annoying. It gets on my nerves. So I can understand the implementation of the rule. But Danny Welbeck was running off as he was clapping the fans. It wasn't like he was walking. The guy was running off. And the guy definitely took less than 10 seconds to get off the pitch. If it took him more than 10 seconds to get off the pitch, then you shouldn't be a football player, because how can you run from the goal to the substitution bench in over 10 seconds? That doesn't make any sense to me. He got off the pitch within 10 seconds. That should have allowed João Pedro to come on. So the fact that João Pedro wasn't able to come on because of that rule, that is stupid. It doesn't make any sense.
Also, Casey, what if he had an injury?
Exactly. The hamstring was gone. I think there's an exception to that rule. There should be an exception if they've got an injury.
Exactly.
That's the key now. Basically, do a Saka and limp off the pitch every single time.
At this point,
that's the only way you can get around it.
We have to do that. But then they'll tell them to go off to the sidelines. You said the way they walk off the sidelines, they'll probably tell them limp off to the sidelines. So that will probably be the case. But yeah, I think the rule itself is not a bad rule, but the application of the rule is poor. It's very similar to the VAR situation. The idea of VAR is not a bad. It's not a bad idea. It's actually a very good idea, because it helps overturn mistakes that maybe referees won't be able to catch with the naked eye. But the application of the rule, the application of VAR is very, very poor, because it's very, very inconsistent. We're talking about, Danny Welbeck taking more than 10 seconds to come off the pitch, But literally 2-3 minutes later, when the Luton lot were coming off, they were taking their sweet ass time walking off the pitch, and the referee still allowed the players to come on. So it's like, be consistent,
I think that,
be fair. If you're gonna do that for us, do that for the Luton players. As I said, that referee's probably a relative of Anthony Taylor. We were all happy saying that Anthony Taylor's finally out of the game, but Anthony Taylor's probably got some sons out there that still wants to do damage to us. So it's like, be fair. Be fair.
If it goes over by like 1 or 2 seconds, like just let the game go. Like it's the same. I'm talking about consistency. It's the exact same thing with like, I remember last season, at the start of the season, there was the rule of kicking the ball away. You get a yellow card. I see players kick the ball away all the time. They don't give a yellow card anymore. So it's like, where's
I think you know what it is, Thomas. I think it's like how far they kick it and that sort of thing. Obviously, Thomas as well. You're a tennis player, right? So they have a shot clock in tennis, Casey. So you get 25 seconds before you can, before you have to basically hit the next ball. Before you can serve, and they're pretty strict on that rule, and a lot of players get pissed off about it, but people go, that is the rule. But at least you have enough time to still compose yourself. I just feel like 10 seconds I think it's too short. I don't see any reason why that can't double. I don't see why that would give you an advantage in a match.
I think 10 seconds is fine. I personally think 10 seconds is fine. 10 seconds to get off the pitch is more than enough time as a professional football player. If you need more than 10 seconds to get off the pitch, if you're not injured, then you shouldn't be a football player, full stop. So I think the 10-second rule to come off the pitch is fine. It's more than okay. But just be consistent with it. As Thomas said, if it's like by a second or two, then you should allow it. You should let it go. We were talking about it yesterday with the whole World Cup. The reason why the World Cup was great was because the referee was allowing a couple of dirty challenges to
even with the keeper when they're allowed to hold on to the ball for like 5. Is it like 7 seconds? Something like that,
but if you that's what I'm saying. So if it's like a second or two you've come off the pitch, then you should still be able to come on. But I think 10 seconds is fine. And if they are violating and they are time wasting, then yes, the player should stay on the sideline for a minute. I think even a minute is okay. 2 minutes I think is an absolute drag, but I think a minute is okay. But it's the application of that rule and being fair and consistent. Don't do it to us and then not do it to the other team, because that's when we will get people coming out saying that this rule's a rubbish rule. We should abolish the rule, this, that, and the thing. Because like I said again, I think the rule is a good rule, but the fairness of the rule, the fairness of how do you apply the rule to other people is the concern.
I think it's a strange rule, Casey. I just think you had the time on. I don't see what the problem is. I mean, football has been going for a long time, and we've been just fine. And people want to complain. People want to complain. Just add on an extra 25 seconds or however long it is. Like, add it on. I don't see why. Everything has to be so robotic. Why make a rule about it? I'll tell you why they make a rule, because they're running out of things to make rules for. So they just, they're doing
and also they want to make the referees the center of attention. Like I said again, let's be real. The football, we're coming to the football for the players, and obviously the referees get no attention whatsoever. They get no love whatsoever. So they're making all these rules so the referees can get their center of attention and they can be the talking points. That's why obviously you're getting referees.
The added time's been shorter though. I have to say, in the Prem, the added time has been shorter. Like, I've noticed that. I don't know if that's a consequence of like them letting the game flow more, like the new rules they're getting in. I don't know, but I think it's important. Like, they might have learned from the World Cup that like the Prem, like you get less people watching it if it's just starting like every 2 minutes. And I think for me last season, like I'd watch other games because obviously I'll watch every Chelsea game with like so much interest, but like the other games when I'm watching on the TV, you're like watching Arsenal and the match stopping like every 2 minutes. It's like you get bored of it after a while. So I think that's the most important thing. They want to sort of increase the fluidity of the game, sort of let it flow more, because then more people will watch it. So I do like that aspect of it, but then if they're being like really picky about like the 10 seconds thing, that I'm less all for. So yeah.
Well, listen, big up to both of you for coming on. Appreciate your time, Casey and Thomas, as always. And big up to yourself if you were watching the whole episode as well. A little bit shorter today, but I mean, it is Luton. If we're being totally honest, guys, there's not an awful lot to dissect there. Obviously, for the Brighton game, we'll do a full hour for the pod as well, and all the other stuff as well. But if you agree or disagree with anything that anyone said, please let us know in the comments. And also, if you'd like to subscribe to the Chelsea Fan newsletter, there's a QR code on screen as well as a link below in the description. It comes out every Friday, so there's actually an edition that's come out today. So subscribe to that. You can interact with the newsletter, and some of your opinions will also be shared on there as well. It's totally free, takes 2 seconds. Let me know what you think about it. But big up to all of you anyway. Enjoy the rest of your week, and we move on to Brighton.